Theo. This is the second one. I'm debating if I want to upload this one or not. But it is on the other side of privilege. So, as I mentioned before, you don't really know you have privilege, but you have a good quality of life. So it's enjoyable. You're not really too stressed about stuff. You're not really crashing out. You might have some entitlements that you don't notice, but people are okay with it because you're either very you're very attractive. You know, these entitlements and these privileges, they reinforce each other. They are self-reinforcing. And they're like bundled on top of each other. So if you're a rich, pretty girl, well, you're rich, so you can do a lot of things, but you're pretty on top of that. So biologically, people are a lot more inclined to just be okay with you. That's like the halo effect, you know, or pretty girl privilege. They are a lot more nicer to you. You get in trouble, they might give you a slap on the wrist. You're just so beautiful, we love you. And this proceeds to even things like race. People don't like it, but this is the same thing. It correlates to privilege. You don't know you really got privilege. You just kind of expect everybody to have it because that's your reality. And everything's pretty normalized. And there's a term called homeostasis. That's kind of like your social homeostasis, where your body pretty much tries to make things normal for you, like even if things may not be so normal. So because you have this sense of normal, it's not always a sense of you don't notice the privileges are the privileges. So when somebody is jealous and they say, "Hey, I don't, you know, I don't like the fact that you have that, and because I don't have it, I don't want you to have it." It gets you defensive, you know, and you don't notice. You don't notice how unequal it is, but you say, "Hey, why am I being judged for just existing? I'm not doing anything." And maybe you're not, you know. But the aspect is, you are being treated differently, you know. Believe it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, you're not really being treated the same. So, I mean, is there anything you could do about it? I mean, maybe, but not really. I mean, you're rich, so you can not be rich, but, you know, you'd be broke then, you know. And there's a lot of issues with being broke. There's a lot of troubles with being broke. So why would you want to be broke just because it's moral to feel like you should equate things? You know, is it moral? I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little debatable. I mean, you didn't really hurt people by getting this wealth and being born into privilege. You just were born in it, you know, because you just, I'm going to service people. Okay, that's a nice thing to do with your wealth. Just make sure you have enough to sustain your lifestyle, you know. Let's say if you're white, you know, maybe you'll dedicate some of your life to kind of helping things be a bit more equal in society, how we view race and stuff. Okay, that's cool, but does that mean you have to hate yourself? No. Again, you didn't have any control over just existing as white and being in a country that affirms you being white. You just didn't, you know. But part of helping yourself in that aspect is learning your own culture, you know, appreciating your culture. If you're Scottish, maybe go to Scotland, you know. If you're Irish, maybe go to Ireland, you know. Have some personal pride for yourself and folks who look like you versus this general goulash of this image of being pale or white or whatever, you know. Specify your existence. That could help you. So another thing, I guess having some balance, you know. But there's too many people who are being defensive about something that they just didn't earn. You didn't earn your whiteness. You didn't earn being white. You were just born, you know. You didn't earn being born into a wealthy family. You were just born wealthy. And a lot of us have different privileges. Like, for instance, despite me being a minority and I'm pretty much working class, I am still an American. So there's some aspects as an American when I leave America, because again, in America is not really relative. When you're in America, it's just kind of about how you look and how much money you make and stuff like that. When you leave America, you're American, so that stuff is valuable. That passport is valuable. People might look at you like you got some money compared to their country, because their country and their economy is just far different than yours, and it may be that theirs is worse. So they look at you like you got Mr. Money. You got money. You Mr. Moneybags. So, do I feel bad about being American? No, I mean, if I feel that bad, I could do something about it. You know, and if I just feel bad and I don't want to feel like I should do something about it, my guess is suppress those feelings, you know. But again, if you feel that bad, then work on, help them, you know. I mean, if you feel so bad, throw a couple dollars to some folks. Dang, they really feeling bad. Okay, fine. Are they starving? Okay, buy some food. Buy some ingredients. You know, help them out. Buy something so that they can get some stuff. Maybe here's a better one. Encourage them. Teach them some invaluable skills. Maybe if you're really good at coding, you could set up a school for coding, and you can get these people some high-powered jobs, some very skilled labor, so that when they're ready, now sure you got the problem of inflation, but you just have to deal with that by adjusting and maybe getting more of a diversity in jobs. But you know, equip them. You know, there's folks who are likely white, and I'm saying this for a specific scenario, not like anybody, because anybody could do this. But there are some individuals who are possibly white Westerners. They go to parts in Africa and they see like stuff in the sex trade, and they help these women. Now, imagine, is it only white people? Probably not. You know, there's probably all types of people who are joining in this effort to equip women. Now, they have a tendency to do this for primarily women and children, from what I've seen from media. But they equip them. They give them a skill, and they help them kind of help themselves, you know. And that's an aspect, because if you keep pouring money in, you'll just kind of mess up the economy. You know, you might make their economy belly flip. You know, so that could be an aspect. You know, equipping them with skills. If they don't know the English language, maybe help them learn the English language. That could help them, because English is pretty universally used, or it's used worldwide, pretty much most places. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe be a social worker. That could work. You know, set up a platform, you know, to give them some services. But that work is really important. So encourage them, have them put them in a positive angle to work better. That could definitely help them out. If you really, really feel something, encourage them to go to your country, you know. And I know that's like, oh, the immigrants. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's a problem. I mean, but there's people here that are in a similar position. They don't want to work, you know, or they're so bogged down by their trauma that they are medicating all the time, and they just can't not live without that medication, whether it's drugs, addictions, porn use, bad relationships, you know, compulsive repetition. But I think those are two different things, addiction and the thing I just said. But you know, I think there's a way to help them, but at the end of the day, you can present the opportunity, and if you feel bad enough, if you feel an urgency enough to do so, to provide an opportunity, those people have to kind of go in there and do it. And yes, they might have actual pitfalls that they say, hey, it's because our government is corrupt. There's nothing we can do. You know, that might be true. That definitely might be true. But there's still an aspect to themselves that they should have to keep at it. You know, they still should put in that effort. There's kind of like it's double-ended. And yes, maybe I'm just speaking from a privilege as an American. Maybe I really don't know what it's like at some place that's traumatizing. My bad. And that's traumatizing and systemically broken and very classist or ethno-classist or racist or systemically oppressive. Like all these things could definitely be true, and they might be so oppressive that you just don't feel the need to really do anything, or you lose the spirit to do anything. You lose the hope and the will. But you still gotta press in, you know. And that's not that could be taken as an excuse from a Westerner, a privileged person from the West, compared to somebody in the outside country. But you still got to do something, man. In America, I'm well aware of the racial preference that we live in America, and the beauty preference of being American with that slender nose and that symmetrical face, and etc., etc., yada, 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 yada. All that stuff could be definitely very well true. All that stuff could be definitely very well oppressive. And that stuff could be definitely very well a hindrance to my growth compared to somebody else. Does it ultimately matter though? Should it matter? It does matter, but I still have to work. You see people, they fight against injustice. You see them, they make their opinions, but they still gotta go to work tomorrow. They still gotta go do stuff. They have to. They can't just make these excuses and not go to work. They can't be homeless. They live somewhere. You gotta go to work. Until you become famous enough and wealthy enough, primarily wealthy enough, where you don't have to do that, then you can be a little more moral and say, hey, we gotta stop fighting this and stuff like that. But then again, you'd be wealthy, so you would be living a privileged life, probably more privileged than other people. You'd have to find a way to kind of have people not be so drawn to that and be more drawn to what your cause is, to make things a bit more equal, which ironically would also involve you as a rich person. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's, I don't know, it's a lot that I've said, and I guess how to tie it is just like, if you really want a world that's more equal, you're gonna have to find a way to invest in making that world more equal, and you have to find various ways to do that. You know, so but that's not gonna happen just because you really want it to happen, and it's good to feel it, but you gotta have your heart match your hands. So, yeah, gotta have